Hello and welcome to Health Quarters one more time. I'm Diego and I'll be showing you a range of exercises and stretch trigger point release modalities to unlock tension in your back, particularly when you are a lot of your time in front of a desktop, computer, or any sort of office work. So, in order to release, we require only just a lacrosse ball in this particular case. You can use any sort of ball that you might have accessible. The tennis ball is a little bit softer, obviously, but still does the trick. Golf, hockey, any sport ball that you have lying around in there. So let's get started first to work on the muscles in between your shoulder blades, okay? So we're gonna try to use the ball against a wall or any sort of hard surface, okay? So the first one that we're going to be doing is for the release of the tension. So if you think about being in this position for a prolonged period of time, it's going to create a lot of activation and a muscle contraction, but not necessarily a lot of movement. So that contraction, will determine a lot that you potentially can have a lot of tension in between the shoulder blades. So by using this ball, we're going to try to activate the trigger point release, and by using a set amount of very basic, super easy movements, we're going to floss that tension out. Okay, so to start, we're going to place the ball by the wall. I'm going to try to go into the internal part of the shoulder blades. So essentially, if this is your scapula, the shoulder blades, and this is your spine, I'm going to try to find a spot in between. Okay. So from there, we all hold the tension differently, but you're going to find that you have one or two particular spots where the tension gets a little bit more pronounced. Once you find the spot, we're going to try to work on the opening and the closing on this. So almost gliding into the shoulder blade, okay? So I find it quite beneficial to get into that spot by, first of all, lying into it, exerting pressure against the wall, pinpointing a particular area, and then opening and closing. So you can play around by going up and down. And like I said before, it's not right and wrong when it comes to trigger point release. It's just about finding the spot that works better for you. I like to mix it up with a little bit of breath work, like all the exercises that we do in order to release. Okay, so if you focus on your breath, you'll be more likely to be successful when it comes to holding the tension. At times it can get a little bit painful, but you can find the spot and floss it around. So you can get into opening and into closing, okay? So you do one side, you can go up and down, and then from there you can move into this area, the upper traps and insertion on the side of your head. So for a lot of us that spend, again, a lot of time in front of the computer, you might feel that you have a bit of a restriction when it comes to rotations or just by holding your head up high. So what you do is just find that spot, the particular spot, which is almost like a socket through here on the top end of your upper trap area and the insertion by the neck. So in this particular case, we put in the ball into the wall, and then you find that spot, and again you lean against. You're going to try to use a little bit of minimal exertion of pressure, and then with your free hand you just kind of relax it, breathe, and lean against. You might feel a little bit of tension coming up all the way to the base of your head, but just quite normal. Just hold it. This doesn't have to be painful, just slightly uncomfortable. You might feel a bit of a throbbing sensation on your hand coming down, very, very normal. And staying there for as many seconds as you need. As you rotate, going side to side, I'm going to try to get a little bit more of pressure just to allow that release. Now, once you're happy with that level of release you might get, you can move into the chest area. Now, again, following up with what you've been saying before, as with most of our activities that we do are in this range, so we create a lot of tension on our chest area, okay? So again, so we hold that area, that range of movement, keyboard or driving or most of our current activities. So I want just to focus also into the release of the main trigger points on the chest. Okay, so pec major and pec minor, which is what we're going to try to find first is identify where the collarbone is, the clavicle. Yep, you're going to place the ball just below it. Now from this position, you can get into that spot and I can straight away feel that almost like a numbing sensation going down on my arm. I'm going to be with control, going to go side to side. Remember, today I'm using a lacrosse ball, but you can use any type of ball or even, you know, any sort of little device that you might find at home. I'm sure anything can help in order to release trigger point in that area. So again, you lean against and breathe, and you can go side to side as much as you feel like it's needed, and then you can relax. Now, another spot that we're going to be getting into release is also the infra and supraspinatus, which is just part of the muscles of the rotator cuffs. Essentially, as we put the ball in a similar spot that we use for the release of the rhomboids and the upper traps through here, we're going to try to find the ball into that spot where you find a little bit of a gliding. So the idea is just to allow 90 degrees on your elbows and hitting your elbow aligned with your shoulders. And as I'm applying pressure against the ball in the wall, I'm going to try to floss that movement by going up and down with control. Okay? So again, let me just show you. So I'm going to do in this side. I'm going to find the spot, and then I'm going to bring the elbow up. Now from here, I'm going to start to feel a little bit of tension. I'm going to hold it aligned with elbow and shoulder. I'm going to bring it up and down as much as I can, but starting gently. Yeah, there's no need to force it. You want to just focus on opening. It's almost like a rewiring and flossing of the whole upper body structure. And again, I'm focusing on my breath, holding it for a couple of seconds. There's a few ways to make it a little more challenging by holding and putting pressure against the resistance or using even a resistant band, but we're not going to make things too complex today. We're just going to focus on a very basic movement for immediate release. Now, another good one that we can focus also, and it's very easy to do, is just for the lats. Okay, so you have the lats on the side, so when they get tight, they seem to hold a lot of tension on the thoracic spine. And we're focusing into getting the ball in between those little muscles as well. So they wrap around the ribs. So a good way to do it is you place the ball against the wall, and then you just find those little knots going up and down. Again, it's a bit ticklish. And you can put as much or as little pressure as you want by just bringing your feet a little bit further out, okay? So I'm just trying to get into a nice little neural release, and then you relax. One more I want to show you today, just to complete the whole key trigger points for upper body and thoracic spine release, is the ones that hold the tension. So the muscles that hold your hip, okay? So if we focus on putting the ball just below the insertion of the occipitalis, which is a muscle that gets into the occipital bone, very easy to see in my head. So you're going to try to put the ball into on the side, one of the sides. We can do both, obviously. You're going to find those spots that get a little bit tight. So as I am allowing my body weight pressure just to be in one particular spot, I'm going to be gently moving my head side to side. This feels almost like binging on ice cream, you know, get a bit of a brain freeze. Gets a little bit uncomfortable, but after a while, it's a bit addictive. So you're going to try to gently rotate side to side. Breathe through the sensation.
shape your head for this video, so it's easier to see the occipital bone?
I've been waiting for 22 years to do this video. Right. One more for those of you that suffer with a little bit of pain on, commonly known as tennis elbow. Yep. So the flexors and the extensors on the forearm. Okay, it's a lot of tension on the keyboard. A really good way. So those of you that suffer with a little bit of weak grip, okay, you can place the ball on the front of your forehead. Forearm. Forehead. You're gonna put a bit of pressure, and then if you find a spot, you can get into that gliding sensation, yeah, but exacerbating the movement in and out, yeah. Or you can also bring it side to side, up and down. And my favorite, which I'm going to show you from here, we're going to try to place it through here, so on this area. So a lot of people suffer from what they call, again, tennis elbow, and a lot of tension gets accumulated in here. So a really good resource in order to release that tension is by placing the ball into that groove, yeah. And from here, we're going to get into a little bit of pressure. So you can find yourself putting a little bit of pressure back and forth, side to side, and I'm going to try to go all the way from the elbow to the wrist as much as you can, all right? And again, doing this type of release on a daily basis is a really good way just to keep your body on track. Obviously, a nice complement to a balanced and well-structured exercise routine. Last one that I wanted to show you is a little one for your back, okay? So lower back also is part of the equation. So we're gonna just place the ball on the side, on the top end of the hips, yep. So a lot of us will find that tension in different parts. But if you are spending a lot of time seated, just find it, and you automatically, you will feel, as soon as it feels a little bit tight, that's where you're in the right spot. Potentially you can feel an exacerbated type of pain going down on the leg.
Shall we take your t-shirt off, maybe?
I don't think this is the type of video, but...
just a little bit, maybe, just to show the back.
Okay. Maybe we are tapping into the wrong niche market. Right. And as you release from there, you can relax, and maybe we can try this on an often manner every day. Give us a bell, let us know how you get on.